Welcome to Grimma, where stories are not just told, they're uncovered. This is where forgotten memories resurface, shadows whisper behind closed doors, and the things you buried deep find their way back. Make sure you're somewhere safe. Turn off the lights. Put on your headphones. And let us take you on a journey. At first, it was just the keys. He'd had the same keychain since college, an old, dented bottle opener from a bar whose name had long faded from memory. Familiar. Comforting in its age and weight. But one cold morning in March, when he picked them up from the kitchen counter, something in his chest tightened. They looked the same. But they didn't feel the same. The weight was off, like the density had changed, molecularly altered. He noticed a tooth on his apartment key had worn smoother than it should have been, almost rounded. But they worked. The lock clicked, the mailbox opened. Functionally identical. So he convinced himself it was stress. Burnout from work. Insomnia. The tiny fissures of fatigue cracking through the concrete of logic. But subtle things began to multiply. An email landed in his inbox, a receipt from a cafe across town. Not one he knew. The timestamp read 8:42 a.m. That exact moment, he remembered the scalding heat of the shower water on his skin, the smell of mint shampoo. His phone's health app confirmed it. He hadn't gone anywhere. And yet, the receipt had his name. His credit card. The note to the barista. He checked his accounts obsessively after that. Charges from places he'd never been, but they weren't random. A gas station 2 boroughs away. Sushi at 11 p.m., a specific order that was close to what he might have chosen. Not foreign, just off. Like someone was imitating him. And then the coworker asked him, how was the concert? What concert? He asked. The one on your story, she said, laughing. Looked amazing. He rarely posted anything. But when he opened his camera roll, he found them. Photos. Grainy, unfocused shots from deep in a crowd. A stage lit in reds and blues. A band he half recognized. And the timestamp? Exactly when the concert happened. But he remembered being home that night. Reading. Hearing the radiator click. Hearing footsteps in the apartment above, or below. He couldn't remember. He began to fear he was losing time. Sleepwalking. Dissociating. So he bought a cheap webcam and pointed it at the foot of his bed. Motion triggered. Just in case. The next morning, he reviewed the footage. Hours of stillness, until 3:12 a.m. Then he sat up. Not stirred. Not rolled. Sat up. Abruptly. Mechanically. As if pulled by invisible wires. He stared at the bedroom door. Then, in perfect stillness, lips barely moving, he said.
See you tomorrow.
His voice. His face. But hollow. Soulless. A copy behind the eyes. The camera caught something else, too. At 3:14, the lights flickered. A shadow passed behind the door, one with no source. No origin. It didn't walk. It glided. At 3:16, the reflection in the mirror blinked. He didn't. And that night, when he returned from work, the keys were already inside. Waiting on the counter. As if he had already come home.
You need to stop watching.
His voice. His face. But hollow. Soulless. A copy behind the eyes. The camera caught something else, too. At 3:14, the lights flickered. A shadow passed behind the door, one with no source. No origin. It didn't walk. It glided. At 3:16, the reflection in the mirror blinked. He didn't. And that night, when he returned from work, the keys were already inside, waiting on the counter, as if he had already come home. Thank you for listening to tonight's story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to help Grimma bring more chilling tales your way. Every like you leave is a candle lit against the dark. We'll see you in the next story. And remember, don't look into the mirror after the lights go out.